So this year, from the 9th to the 15th of October, is Baby Loss Awareness Week. And if you know me, if you've watched my videos before, then you may know that my first pregnancy ended in a baby loss. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about 6 things that helped me deal with losing a baby, helped me heal, things that helped me understand, and just generally things that helped. Because if you're going through this, or if you've been through a loss, then I'm sure you're looking for things to help to make you feel better. I had an ectopic pregnancy, which hit me like a ton of bricks, to be honest. I wasn't expecting it. I've documented the whole thing, so I've done a video talking about my ectopic pregnancy, what happened, how I found out I was pregnant, and all the way up to having the pregnancy removed. So I'll leave the video linked below. And last year, in the same Baby Loss Awareness Week, I did a video talking about how I felt being pregnant after having had baby loss, after having lost a baby. It has been 3 years, and I've had 2 successful pregnancies and 2 beautiful babies since then, but I've not completely got over it, and there are days that I still think about it and it still hurts. So it's a topic that's very close to my heart, and I just want to say that there's no such thing as a big or a small loss. Just because you lost your baby in the last trimester, or if you've lost your baby a few days into your pregnancy, it doesn't make these losses any different. It doesn't hurt any less. Losing a baby hurts. It does hurt. It sucks. It's not fair. And it's hard to understand why it happens, but it does, and it happens to a lot of us. And it's a topic that's not talked about much, even to this day, but I am so happy that a lot of people are talking about it now, because it's helping so many women and men who go through baby loss, and it's making people feel less alone. And that's how I felt when I found this range of videos talking about the topic. But anyway, I'm gonna stop waffling about it. I just wanted to introduce this video talking about my own experience and just to offload a little bit, because it's good to keep myself in check and talk about baby loss every so often, because I do have a tendency to keep things bottled in, but I find that that's going to be one of my tips. Talking about it helps. So without giving you any spoilers, here are my top 6 tips. So the first thing that really helped me was to watch videos and to read blog posts and articles about other people who had been through the same thing as me. That really helped me, because I felt like these women, and sometimes men, really understood what I was feeling. And I found myself nodding the whole way through, watching video after video after video and reading blog posts, and it just helped me feel like it wasn't just me. I wasn't the only unlucky person in this world, but most importantly, it helped me see that I was going to be okay. Because at that point when I was watching those videos, I didn't know that things were going to be okay. I was living it. I felt like my life was never going to be the same. I was never going to experience happiness in the level that I had before losing a baby again, that things were just going to be incredibly different and difficult. And yes, things will be different. You will change after losing a baby, but it doesn't mean that you'll change and you'll become a worse person. It might take you a while to feel like yourself again, but when you do, you'll realize that you've changed and you're wiser and you're more aware of things that matter to you. Because before I lost a baby, I never knew how much I wanted one. I knew I wanted to be a mum my whole life, but I never knew how much I wanted to be a mum until I lost a baby. The second thing that helped me was research, and this really depends on what kind of person you are. I am big on knowledge. I would rather know everything and anything than being left in the dark, and ignorance is not a bliss to me. I like knowledge and I like knowing things and how things work and why they happen. So researching my ectopic pregnancy, which was a very rare case, helped me understand what happened, why it happened. This is a common thought that we tend to think that it was our fault. It was something that we did. It must have been, because, you know, why would this happen? And I thought that too. But researching really helped, because learning all the medical things, all the reasons and all why it happens, just made it clear that it was nothing that I did and there was nothing that I could have done to stop this from happening. It wasn't my fault. And so that really helped with the guilt and with making me feel less responsible for it. I find the deeper the research, the better I felt. The more I knew, the more I felt in control of my emotions and the situation. My ectopic pregnancy was 1 in 100,000. I don't know if you know anything about ectopic pregnancies, but it's basically a pregnancy outside of the uterus. And mine one was in the abdomen, and specifically in a place called the pouch of Douglas. So there are not many cases in the world of this, and I found it fascinating and interesting to read about it and to try and find other people who had an ectopic pregnancy exactly in the same place as me. For some reason, I found that helpful. So you might find it helpful to research anything to do with what you've been through. The third thing that helped me was having a timeline and having a date to focus on to try again for a baby. So when I left the hospital, my doctor told me that I could try again for a baby after I had my first cycle. That was kind of the way that my body would regulate itself, and that I would know that my cycles were back to normal. And I know that some people are told to wait longer, 3 months, 6 months, a year, but with me it was as simple as long as your cycles are back, you can start trying again. I didn't have the medication. I actually had surgery to remove, but I know that some people have medication and they have to wait a little bit longer for the medication to be completely flushed out of their system before trying again for a baby. But having that date, having that focus of when my cycles restart, we can try again, helped me feel like my life wasn't going to be this empty forever, that I was going to have another shot at this, and that there was hope, basically. The fourth thing that helped me was allowing myself to grieve the loss of a baby. And for a while I didn't allow myself to grieve, because although the doctors that spoke to us were amazing, they were so helpful, they did their job amazingly well, they were very clinical, and their way of explaining what had happened to me was that it was never meant to be a baby. And I kind of took that home with me and kept on thinking, if it was never meant to be a baby, if it was never going to be a baby, then why should I grieve? And have I even lost a baby if they described to me it was just a mass of cells. And for a while that's all that I thought it was. But that really didn't help me, because I kept thinking about what I'd been through and thinking that mass of cells was a unique mass of cells that could have turned into a person if that pregnancy was in the uterus. So I just scrapped the whole idea and I decided to allow myself to grieve the loss of a baby. And I feel like I lost a baby, what could have been a life and a person that we will never get to know. And it's sad, it's really sad. And allowing myself to grieve that loss and to feel like I'd lost a baby, not a mass of cells, helped me. It helped me get to that point and then move forward. I never say move on, because I don't think you ever move on from a loss, but to move forward, to be able to see beyond that and to not forget what you've been through, but to maybe store it in the back of your head and not think about it every day with such intensity. The fifth thing that helped me was talking to my husband and getting his point of view on how he felt. And it's very easy for us to focus on ourselves because we're the ones carrying, we're the ones that have to go through surgery and have to go through the physical loss of the baby. But talking to my husband really helped. I saw his point of view. I saw how the loss affected him and what he thought was scary, what he thought was difficult. And in short, what he told me was that he couldn't bear to see me that sad, and he felt really scared that he was going to lose me because I was going into surgery, general anesthetic, to have a pregnancy removed. But to him, it was his loved one, his wife, being put under general anesthetic. And you never know what happens. Surgeries are complicated procedures, even the simplest of surgeries. And he felt scared about losing me. He also felt sad that I was potentially going to lose one of my tubes, which I didn't because my pregnancy was in the abdomen. But before the surgery, we didn't know. And the doctors were saying to us, you might have to remove a tube. And that was something that he felt really sad about, was losing part of me and losing something that I had with me for my whole life, and potentially reducing our chances of conceiving again in the future. He also felt very powerless and felt very unable to fix it. I think men have that in them. Most men feel the need to fix things that are wrong. And in these situations specifically, I don't know why I'm crying, but they feel like they can't fix it for you. They can't make it better. And talking to him really helped me, because it helped me see things through his eyes. And I don't know, it just helped. So maybe if you feel like you don't want to talk to anyone, talk to your partner or your husband or the closest person to you and ask them how they felt about you going through that situation. And the last thing that helped me, it's such a mess, was opening up and sharing my story with the world. And I wasn't brave enough to do it straight away. I waited about a year and a little bit to share my ectopic pregnancy story, and I did a video on it. And I had so many lovely messages and so many comments and so many people coming to me and sharing their experiences when they said they hadn't shared it with anyone, and telling me how helpful it was to hear my story. And it was just as helpful to me to share my story. It felt like such a relief to be able to speak about it all out in the open, and it was like taking the load off and sharing it with other people, because other people knew about it, so they could talk to me about it, and it would make me feel lighter instead of me carrying that weight, which I kept kind of a secret, but not for any reason other than I didn't feel ready to talk about it with other people, so I didn't want other people knowing. And when I shared my story, it was just incredibly helpful. And I can't stress enough how much better I felt after I'd done that. And also I can't stress enough how much it's important to do it when you feel comfortable. And I didn't feel comfortable for a whole year. If you're in the moment now where you feel like you don't want to talk about it, you don't want to deal with it, as soon as you say it, it exists and it's out in the open, then don't talk about it. But just know that when you're ready, and if you do want to share what you've been through with someone, you'll feel tremendous relief afterwards. And I felt like I could smile fully, like again, after I shared that story, which is insane because it was a whole year after it happened, but that's how I felt. So these are the 6 things that I found really helpful to help me deal with my loss. And I hope that you find them helpful, or even if you find one of them helpful, I will be very happy to have made this video. And if you're going through a loss at the moment, or if you've been through one recently and you're particularly struggling with people that come up to you and say things that are unhelpful, then I suggest you watch this video by Channel Mum, and I'll leave the video linked below. It's an amazing video, and it's about what to say or what not to say to someone who has experienced baby loss. and it's such a powerful video. I know that people often, they don't mean to say things and for it to hurt. They don't mean to say something that's insensitive. They're just trying to help and they're just trying to find the right words, but sometimes that just doesn't help. Especially when people said to me, "You'll get over it, don't worry," that really didn't help. Or when other people said, "You can try again, don't worry, you'll get over it." I know they were trying to be helpful and positive, but I wanted to grieve that baby first, and I didn't want to think that I could try again. I had lost a life, I'd lost a baby. So go and watch the video and share it with your friends, maybe like a little hint if you feel like people are not being very sensitive to what you've been through. And yeah, that's all I have to say. I didn't think this video was going to be emotional, but it ended up being. Every time I talk about baby loss, I feel emotional, and understandably so. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends if you feel like it would be helpful to them, and subscribe to my channel if you're new. And I hope to see you again on my channel very soon. Bye.